anybody that would come to visit him.
All right, and has that been the case for the most of the time that he's been incarcerated?
Yes, there's been a few times when they've tried to move him off of solitary, and then he was always moved quickly back.
He always what?
Was moved quickly back.
Okay. When there were times when there was talk about moving him out of, it's called protective custody?
Yeah.
Okay. What would his reaction normally be as far as reaching out to you?
He was always very worried and scared, and he would always ask me, please call Bjorn right away and see if he can contact the jail and get me moved back to protective custody. He was always worried for his safety.
Okay. Outside of being a lawyer and outside of the things that you do as it relates to the death penalty, you travel.
I do.
And you climb mountains.
I do climb mountains, very large ones.
And mountains that might actually be dangerous to climb from time to time, is that?
I think that's fair.
Okay. When you plan these trips over the past several years while you've had Shelby Nealy as a friend, do you tell him about your trips?
I do.
In advance?
Yes.
What's his reaction to you telling him about these trips?
Two things. He always likes to sort of know what other people are doing on the outside to sort of understand what the world might be like, and he's also always worried about my safety. Obviously I understand why we're here, and I know the terrible thing that he's done, but he also is a very caring individual, and he always would worry about my safety and make sure that I would be okay, and he would always tell me to be careful.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that he's intrigued by the adventures that you go on?
Oh, yes.
Would it be fair to say that he appears to be relieved when you return safely?
Yes, he always wants to know, and there's definitely been times where I've, texted somebody in the office or made sure that, I think I've texted his mom a couple of times while I was traveling to let her know that I was safe so that she could relay that message to him.
Okay. While Mr. Nealy has been incarcerated and he's going to be incarcerated the rest of his life, right?
Correct.
Do you anticipate that regardless of where he ends up, if he ends up on death row or serving life in prison, will you continue to have contact with him?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. While he's been here in the county jail, are you aware of the fact that he has actually written a book?
Yes.
Do you know the name of the book?
Finished.
Okay. And has it been published?
Yes, self-published on Amazon.
Okay, all right. So pretty much anyone can publish a book if they wanted to?
Yes.
I mean, you had to type it up or have someone type it up?
That's right.
But it can be published. It's been self-published. If you go on Amazon, you can look it up and buy it if you wanted to, right? Okay. Have you read it?
I read it when he was writing it handwritten, so I read it sort of chapter at a time. Yes.
Okay. Is it your type of a book?
I would say it's probably not. It's creative. Mostly for me, the idea that he did that while in custody just shows I knew he wanted to have a purpose, and it's a much better use of his time than I've seen in many other circumstances. I enjoyed reading it because it was something that he created.
Okay. So instead of causing problems and getting in trouble, staying busy writing a book, and that's a good thing. And
trying to find a purpose beyond what we're here for.
Okay. Who would you say, based on your understanding of the book, the audience would be?
I would say a teenage boy, for sure. Okay. My partner has 2 sons, and I would recommend his youngest son read it.
Okay. Shelby has 3 children, is that correct?
That's right.
All right. And what are their names?
Mackenzie, Bella, and Oliver.
All right. Mackenzie's the oldest?
That's right.
Okay. As far as Bella and Oliver, is he allowed to have contact with them?
He's not.
Okay. And is there something that he's been doing while he's been in the county jail that involves you and involves his 2 youngest children, Bella and Oliver?
Yes, he's been writing to them on their birthdays. He's gotten cards from the commissary and written those cards and given them to me for safekeeping in the event that either he's ever allowed to have contact with them, or when they become of age that they want to have contact with him, whether or not he's alive. He would like me to get those cards to him after they come of age, or at least have them available should they have questions about him. And they're basically cards from like he bought them in the jail, so they're like Hallmarky kind of cards, okay, with a handwritten note, just about happy birthday, I miss you, I love you, I'm thinking about you, you would like this toy, or I'm thinking about this, and basically just like that.
All right. And you're just holding on to those in the event that in the future they may want them, or...
Yeah, and in my experience doing this work, I've never had an adult child of a person in these circumstances not want to at least reach out for information and to at least have a conversation with their parent. Okay. Whether they continue that relationship or not, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but giving them that opportunity feels really important.
Okay. During the time period that you, how many years have you now known Shelby?
I started here in March of 2019, and I think I probably met him maybe sometime that summer, so sometime maybe later that summer or fall, so about 6 years.
Okay. And have you seen any changes in him during that time period?
Yes, definitely. He used to not, when things would change in the jail and things would get moved around, he would have a really hard time with change and get very upset, never in a acting out in an angry way, but just really overly concerned and anxious. And over time I've noticed, to the point I think the last time he was moved, I happened to be in the jail when they were moving him, and he was just here we go again, can you let Bjorn know? And there was he just had done so much better. He's just done, I think, so much less sort of anxiety, and over the years I think he's gotten much sort of calmer and certainly more mature.
Okay. In the past year and in the past several years, we've had some natural disasters, hurricanes in this area.
Yes.
What, if anything, do you hear from Shelby when the hurricanes are coming and afterwards?
He's always concerned. He's always checking in. He'll call a lot to make sure that we're safe, that things are, okay if we lose power. My boyfriend and I happened to be in Hawaii when the Maui wildfires happened. We were actually trapped in our car for about 30 hours while the island was on fire. And Shelby knew that I was there, and there was a great deal of angst and to make sure that we were okay and safe. And so I was able to I think I texted his mom that we're okay and we're not in any danger. Anytime there's something that he is sort of, he's very helpless in the jail by himself in solitary, and he's always making sure that not just I'm okay, are my friends okay, are my neighbors okay? He knows the, woman who owns my yoga studio, who's a dear friend of mine. He asks about them by name all the time.
Okay. Shelby Nealy has pled guilty to some really horrific crimes.
Absolutely.
And for that, he will die in prison one way or the other.
That's right.
From your experience with him, is he capable of loving others?
He absolutely is. And I have both in my head and heart grief for what he's done, and also know that he's more than the worst thing he's ever done.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor.
Wow, what an excellent defense witness this is for Shelby Nealy, his former attorney. We'll hit the pause button. We'll go back in and play some more unaired footage in the in-law massacre case. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Let's go back in the courtroom now. We're seeing from some testimony from a really great witness for defendant Shelby Nealy, an attorney who used to represent him. And remember, what's clear here is he's never getting out of prison. The only question is whether he'll be put on death row or be made to serve life without parole. So he's going to be in for his crimes. And now we're about to see the portion where this attorney is going to be cross-examined by the state of Florida. Let's take a look.
You said the defendant called, was checking on you and people after the hurricane?
Yeah, like during, before.
Yeah, I'm sure if he was able to, he would have come and swung a hammer to help fix stuff up too, right?
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh, okay. It's actually kind of a crusade of yours to stop Florida from executing murderers, right?
That is true.
That is true. In fact, that's you being the executive director of Floridians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty. That's what that organization is aimed at doing, right?
Yes, to replace the death penalty with life without parole.
Right. And you make, what, about $60,000 a year from that now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So you get paid to protest or organize protests, different executions, correct?
We don't do protests, no.
Okay, vigils.
Prayer vigils. It's a prayer service.
Prayer vigils. So
It's actually organized by a church in Daytona Beach. We participate with FADP at the vigil across from the prison, and there's a prayer service during the vigil. But we don't run it, but I attend every one.
Right. And what's that been, 14 or 15 in the past couple of years?
That's right. Past 18 months.
So the vigils, you go out there, you hold signs, pictures of the murderer being executed, things of that nature?
No signs. No, it's a prayer service. It's
Okay.
very solemn. You should come.
You were representing the defendant for a period of time, right?
My office was, and I was one of the members of the team, yes.
Meaning you were one of the attorneys working on his case?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the things that the attorneys do when the defendant's in this situation, you guys, if this defendant is encourage him to do things to present better for a situation like this, correct?
No, I disagree with that.
You disagree with that? And your organization, the Floridians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty, you worked with the defendant to help him get his book published, right?
I mean, there's some people in my organization that helped type the book for him and helped him do the publishing on Amazon. Yeah.
Right. Helped edit it, helped type it up, helped get all that done.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
that by June 24th of 2025, he could have a book out already before this situation, right?
Oh, I mean, he wanted to have this published like 2 or 3 years ago. It just took a long time, a lot longer than anyone thought. But it wasn't like in anticipation of this. He very much wanted this to be published probably 2 years ago.
Right.
I think he finished writing it in January of 2023.
Right. Well, a lot of work goes into something like that, right? There's a lot of editing. There's a lot of typing. There's a lot of things of that nature that normally people are paid to do or do themselves, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you self-publish, I think most people type it themselves, but he obviously doesn't have access to a computer.
Right. So your organization, Floridians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty, you guys assisted him with all that and did all that for free.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do it like as part of FADP, but the two women who helped him do that do work for FADP, including other jobs that they have.
And you helped put those women in contact with this defendant?
Yes.
Okay. And you regularly send this defendant books and gifts?
I send him books. Yes. It's a thing I do to the Department of Corrections and jails all over the state.
And gifts like coffee?
Like the jail has these like eye care packages, and sometimes there's stuff that you can't get on commissary. And his mom does a really good job of supporting him too, but stuff's really expensive in the jail. And when I can, on a handful of times, I've sent him care packages.
Okay. And you indicated he's been in solitary just about the entire time he's been in custody?
Yeah, there's been a few times back and forth that he hasn't, but for the most part, yes.
Right. And the public defender's office, your office, actually called the jail to make sure that he would stay in solitary, right?
I didn't. I'm not sure.
But that was something that his defense attorneys organized to make sure that he remained in solitary.
I don't know that.
And continued to do when he was moved to Pasco for a period of time, and continued to do when he was moved back, right?
That sounds right. That wasn't something that I believe that I directly did.
Okay. So it's not something that has been imposed upon him, right?
No, I mean, I think for his safety, everybody wanted him to stay in solitary, including him and his defense team, which I think is still true now.
Well, his concern for his safety, right? And the defense team's concern for his safety.
Sure, but I mean, I know you haven't been to our jail, but like our jail only has a limited number of those cells, so they're not going to just put somebody in there because they ask for it.
Okay. And there was one point you said you know the terrible thing he's done. You recall saying that?
Yeah.
And what you mean is the terrible many things that he's done, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's convicted of 4 counts of murder, yes.
Right. Over the period of a year?
Yes.
Okay. And you say he's been writing letters for his kids, Bella and Oliver?
Yes.
Now, their mother, Jamie, isn't going to be able to write him any letters, right?
Nope.
He never gave her that option.
I mean, he's pled guilty of her crime, yes.
Their grandparents, Richard and Laura, they're never going to be able to write him any letters, Christmas cards, anything like that, right?
Nope.
Okay. And you're familiar with Donald DeFore?
Yes.
Right. Donald DeFore was convicted of brutally murdering 2 people back in the 80s, sentenced to death.
That sounds right.
And you have his name tattooed on the back of your neck?
No.
Or back?
No.
No?
Nope. That's very hilarious, but no.
All right.
If you'd like to see, I can show it to you, but there's no tattoo of Donald DeFore on the back of my neck. You're getting bad information, Mr. Sarabia.
The defendant's book,
Yeah.
Finished, The Chaos Begins.
Yes.
Okay. Finished, The Chaos Begins. You indicated the defendant had wanted to publish this book for a long time.
Yeah, and he started writing. Like, if I remember correctly, it was. I just remember reading it on the plane to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. So that was January of 23. So that's when it was like. That was the end of when I finished reading it. So it was written then.
So you, being the defense attorney on the case, I'm sure you had access to all the materials, police reports, things of that nature, jail calls.
At the time, yeah, but not anymore.
Okay, so then you would have been aware that back on March 30th of 2019, the defendant had a jail call with his mother where he was talking about publishing a book and making money. You remember that?
I don't remember that. No,
And
I wouldn't have had access to his jail calls.
Right, but it was documented in the police report, so I'm sure you would have reviewed the police report, right?
Yeah, again, I wasn't lead counsel on the case. My role, I wasn't actually even, I was doing Baker Acts then, so I was not like doing the work that I'm doing now at the Public Defender's Office while Mr. Nealy's case was pending. I definitely was a member of the team, but I don't want to say that I read that in a police report because I don't remember. I'm not disputing that it's in one, but I don't remember that.
And so then you're not aware that he was planning to publish a book, hoping to use the publicity for these murders in order to sell the book?
I would be shocked if he said those words.
You would be shocked if he said, well, considering I'm all over the news all the time, it wouldn't be hard. Hey, it's a book by that dude. Oh, I have to get it just because I'm curious. That's the hope and the dream. You'd be surprised if he said that?
No, I mean, I don't think that's like using the publicity of the murders. I mean, he's always expressed with his book is that he wants to be remembered for more than something than the worst thing he's ever done. And so that's been his goal, and to have a legacy for his children that is beyond what he's convicted of.
So you don't,
if he's executed.
You don't think that that statement indicates hoping to use the publicity for the fact that he is in the news as a murderer?
No, to me it sounds more like he's already in the news, he wants to write a book. So I would disagree with that characterization.
Okay. And you're aware he's gone by different names over the course of his life. Most of his life, he was Shelby Svensson, right?
Which is his mom's name, yeah.
Correct. But he published the book under the name Shelby Nealy.
Which is his father's name, who